You've learned 8 breathing techniques now. Here's your cheat sheet for life. This is how you build sustainable breathing patterns and breathing practices for the rest of their life versus just during February. Let's consolidate this down into a cheat sheet you can come back to real briefly anytime, so you're going to want to save this video. When we need to calm down fast, we want to use that physiological breath, where it's the 2 breaths in and a long exhale. Okay, that's your first one if you need to get out of stress quick. Now, if you're panicking, that's when you want to do box breathing. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, and 4 hold out. That's really effective for when you're panicking. It really helps ground your body. When you can't sleep, that's when we go to the 4-7-8 breath. So 4 seconds in, holding for 7, 8 seconds out. And when you're doing the long exhales, you want to consider dropping your eyes toward your feet as you breathe out, because it's going to increase the level of parasympathetic nervous system activation, which means it's going to calm you down even further. Now, when you need energy, we can go back to the breath of fire, where it's that's the rapid breaths in and out. And keep in mind, you might get dizzy, you might get lightheaded, so make sure if you have a tendency toward that, be mindful when you do that. If you want to energize your brain, if you want to activate your brain, things like that. If you are feeling anxious in public, or in a situation where you're having a tough conversation, or whatever it might be, that's when you use your stealth breath. And your stealth breath, again, is you just keep your body calm, your face relaxed, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. You're using your breath as your mechanism to get through that tough situation. Now, when you're feeling like you want to build that CO2 resilience, that's when you go to the exhale holds. So you're going to take a breath in and breathe out, and then you hold it out. You could hold it for 15, 30, 60 seconds, whatever you're comfortable with, in order to build your tolerance, which is going to increase your ability to calm your body down. Now, if you're feeling disconnected, one of the ways you can get back in your body, if you're out here in floaty land, is you can do the humming breath, or the whatever you want to do. Some people say the sound that they use in chanting and stuff like that. It's like the middle part of God, so God, right? If you're of that variety. So thinking about that, when you're dealing with really tough emotions is when you can consider using that anchoring breath we talked about. So when you're really stressed out, you get a hand on your chest and a hand on your belly, and that's when you're really focusing on calming your body, and you're touching, giving yourself that somatic reflex, that somatic feedback, so you can get back in your body when things get stressful if you have a tendency to dissociate. So today's practice is you can look back at any one of these 8 techniques and use one of them, and maybe today you look at the one you've been avoiding. Maybe you look at the one you've felt the most uncomfortable with, because that's going to be the opportunity for you to really step into leaning into that uncomfortable feeling that you've been avoiding, per se. When you have multiple tools in your tool belt, then you start building that real resilience we've been talking about building all month. And that's when we talk about self-efficacy, which means you know your body and your breath, and you know which one to tap into when you need it to. So that's when you can handle just about anything that comes your way. And that's the reason why we're doing this, is to be able to handle any situation that comes our way. Research says that as soon as you think you're ahead of your stress, as soon as you perceive your stress is less, or that you're managing it well, your cortisol is going to drop. Your sympathetic tone, your stress, fight, or flight is going to drop, and you're going to be more relaxed. And that is the $1 million opportunity there for you to just stay chill. It's going to keep you young. It's going to keep you happy. It's going to keep your body strong. Aches and pains go away. Inflammation drops. All the kind of stuff that we're dealing with as far as what is driven by the lack of breathing. So now you have the tools. And if we think about what we're doing next, tomorrow we're going to talk about when to time these breaths, because that's almost more important than which breath you choose.